Welcome to this mat yoga practice. So today, what I'd like you to do is make sure you have your mats and some space where you can stand up. We're going to do some kneeling things. So if you need a little extra cushion for your knees, maybe grab a blanket, or you can always make a little fold in your mat if you need that when we get there. Also, if you can grab a little cushion to sit on, we're going to be doing some seated postures toward the end of the practice. So again, if that seems like a bad idea for you today, just adapt and take care of yourself as you go through this practice. Our intention for this practice is really a little bit of spring cleaning in our bodies, a little bit of digestion, a little elimination, which is good anytime. It doesn't matter what the season is. So we're really going to be focusing on letting go, not just in our bodies, but also in our minds. So we're going to start out on your backs. Take a minute just to get yourself set up here. You can always pause the video and come back if you need to go grab something or, it starts working for you. So as you come onto your back, take a moment and just feel your body resting on the floor. If you can, bring one hand to your lower abdomen, so below your belly button someplace, and the other hand to your chest. You can close your eyes here and just take a couple of breaths, bringing your attention into your body here. Maybe taking just a quick inventory, noticing any place that maybe your body feels a little heavy, a little stuck. Maybe noticing any place where your breathing feels maybe a little stuck. And even taking just a second to recognize the quality of your mind, your attention. Maybe noticing any concerns or thoughts that are bouncing consistently through your head that you could get rid of. That would be okay. Remind yourself that you don't have to change anything in this moment. You are in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. So try and keep that easy breathing. I'm going to encourage you to try and breathe through your nose if you can. If that's not an option, just breathe however you are able. And then let your arms rest wherever they feel comfortable. We're going to start with a really small movement, really just moving your spine. So I'm going to move my arm here closest to the camera. You keep your arms where they're comfortable. I just want you to be able to see this really small movement we're going to start with. So all you're going to do is as you inhale, think about pushing your chest and your belly toward the ceiling, getting that little arch in your back. And then when you exhale, really pull your belly button in, flattening your low back to the floor, kind of pressing your feet into the floor. So again, your arms are wherever they feel good. We're just going to repeat this little movement of your spine. So as you inhale, feel your chest and your belly pushing out. On your exhale, really pull that belly button in, pressing your feet into the floor. Feel that little action down through your legs. Now, I want you to repeat this movement. I'm going to invite you to do a little extra. If you know where your pelvic floor is, if your mind can find it, at the same time you exhale, pull in that belly button and press your feet into the floor. Think about lifting your pelvic floor, engaging those muscles. And then when you inhale, feel that arch in your back, feel that release through your pelvic floor. Maybe just think about it. That might be as far as you can get today. That's okay. I'm going to invite you to do this a couple more times. And I'm going to shut up so you can focus. Exhale, flattening that back, maybe engaging your pelvic floor a little bit. Inhale, chest, belly toward the ceiling, releasing that pelvic floor if you can. One more time. Think about pressing your feet into the floor as you flatten your low back, engaging that pelvic floor. And then releasing your pelvic floor. Feel that little arch in your back. And then just let your breath relax. Let your back relax. Let your brain relax that little bit. Right, now keeping your knees bent, you're just going to bring your feet close together. So your big toes are touching each other, your heels are together. And then what we're going to do is, as you inhale, you're just going to open those knees wide away from each other, rolling to the outsides of your feet. You might feel that little arch in your back again. When you exhale, bring your knees together, flattening your feet to the floor. Really pull that belly button in, flattening your back. So we're just adding this movement of the legs, getting a little wake up through the hips. Again, if you can find your pelvic floor, on your exhale, you're squeezing those knees together, pressing your feet down, flattening your back. Think about lifting your pelvic floor. I know it's a lot. If you can't get it all, that's okay. When you inhale, try and release. Feel that flow. Imagine that flow of energy all the way down through your legs to your toes. So exhale, knees come together, flattening your back, pressing your feet down. Inhale, opening wide, releasing that pelvic floor if you found it. Do this a couple more times. Again, just try and find it. It's more about getting your brain to connect to that pelvic floor, that space in your body. And then releasing, that's important. All right, the next time your knees are wide away from each other, no rush. The next time your knees are wide, see if you can keep your knees wide. Bring the soles of your feet toward each other. All right, this next movement, again, is very small, very subtle, so you're not going to be able to see much here. But I want you to really feel your body. As you inhale, think about pressing the soles of your feet toward each other. Feel that work all the way down through your legs. Maybe think about lifting that pelvic floor on that exhale. And then when you inhale, relax the press at your feet. Relax your pelvic floor. So the breath is a little different here. If that's too confusing, just breathe however you need. But slowly, with control, pressing the soles of your feet together, lifting that pelvic floor a little bit if you have that action. And then when you exhale, you get to relax everything. I think I changed the breath on you. Sorry, guys. Breathe however you need. Maybe play around with the breath a little bit. And then once you release your legs, release that pelvic floor, just gently bring your knees all the way together. And then keeping your feet close, again, press the soles of your feet into the floor. Think about your toes, your big toes, pressing into the floor. At the same time, gently squeeze your knees together so you're getting that action all the way up through your legs. As you press your feet into the floor, it may already be happening. Think about tilting that pelvic floor or tilting your pelvis so that your low back comes toward the floor. I just eliminated all those words. Are you with me? Pressing your feet into the floor, squeezing your knees together, flattening that low back. That's as far as we're going to go today. Just take a breath here. Feel that strength through your legs. All right, now release the press through your feet. Lift your feet up off the floor, knees in towards your chest. And then you just get to take your knees in big, slow circles here. Go super slow motion. Just feeling that little massage from the floor at your hips, around your sacrum, your low back. If you haven't already, take those knee circles in the opposite direction. Again, just finding that little massage from the floor on your back. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Let's wake up those abdominal muscles. See if you can lift your head, your chest towards your knees here. And then set your shoulders and your head to the floor. Set your feet back down onto the floor. This time, let there be a little space between your feet, a little space between your knees. Now, here's a trick. If your hamstrings, you know your hamstrings are really tight today, open your feet a little wider. That will help avoid cramping, maybe. Again, notice your feet on the floor. Feel all of your toes touching the floor. Maybe those big toes really pressing into the floor, kind of like roots of a tree. So you really want that stability connected to the floor. Arms are going to stay down by your sides. On your next inhalation, you're just going to lift your hips up maybe an inch or two. So just start small. And then when you exhale, lower your spine all the way down. Feel that connection of your back to the floor. So again, we're going to lift. Inhale, maybe lift a little higher this time. Exhale, lowering your spine, using those abdominal muscles coming all the way down. Keep your legs engaged the whole time. Toes are pressing into the floor as you lift, maybe a little higher. Exhale, lowering down, engaging those abdominal muscles. We're going to do one more. Lifting as high as it feels good. Just relax your neck. And then lowering your spine all the way down. Once your spine is on the floor, let your back rest on the floor. Bring your knees in towards your chest. All right, here's the deal. You can hold your legs if you want to. You can let your arms stay down by your sides. If you're feeling frisky today, we're going to do arms and legs. That's an option. So when you inhale, at the same time, you're going to raise your legs toward the ceiling. Raise your arms all the way to the floor above your head. And then when you exhale, bring those knees in towards your belly. Bring your arms all the way back down by your sides. So on that inhale, you're really extending through your spine, but your abdominal muscles are working here. It's a little core activation, and you really feel those abdominal muscles on your exhale. If you're feeling especially frisky right now, or you want to get just that little bit of extra abdominal work, on your exhale, as you bend your knees in towards your belly, you can lift your head, your chest into a little baby crunch. And then inhale, head, shoulders come to the floor, arms come to the floor above your head, extending your legs. So if you can, I'm going to do a couple more just like this. You find the adaptation, you find the movement that works for you. You can change. If you get to a point where it feels like too much, do less. All right, on your next exhale, bend your knees, set your feet down onto the floor. We're going to do one more thing here, just releasing those hip flexors a little bit. Open your feet wider than hip distance away from each other. Arms can rest wherever you like. And then as you exhale, just twist both knees to one side. Chin goes to the opposite. On your inhale, untwist. And then exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, untwisting. So gently rock from side to side. You don't have to force anything, but maybe just feel that little stretch across your hip flexors. Maybe feel that little rotation through your spine. Maybe even feel that little release through your neck. Most of this practice does not focus on the upper body, so let's just find the little wiggles when we can, all right? All right, when you've had enough, when you feel even with the twists, I'm gonna have you roll over onto your hands and knees. Now, this is a good time. If you need that extra cushion under your knees, you can always make a little fold in your mat, or you can put a blanket under your knees. Take a second to set yourself up. Find a spot where your wrists feel comfortable on the floor. Again, if your wrists are really cranky, just walk your hands forward a little bit. That gives you a little bit more space. And we're going to do just a little small movement of the spine here. Now, usually we do cat and cow. Today we're just focusing on the cat part. So like arching your back. When you exhale, really pull that belly button in. Engaging your lower abdominals, rounding your spine toward the ceiling. Tuck your chin here. And then when you inhale, flatten your back, lifting through your chest just a little bit. Try and come to neutral. So on that exhale, pressing your hands into the floor, pressing your knees into the floor. Feel that little action through your abdominals. If you have the brain space, on your next exhale, you're going to pull that belly button in. Think about lifting your pelvic floor. If you can't do it, that's okay. Just think about it. And then release your pelvic floor on that inhale, flattening your back. Think of a nice long flow through your spine. Activating those abdominal muscles as you exhale, activating your pelvic floor if you got it. And then releasing that activation. Feel that flow of energy all the way down your legs to your toes. I'm going to do two more just so we can play. Now on your next exhalation, if you like, you can make this a little bigger. Sit back into child's pose, pulling that belly button in. Feel that little stretch at your low back. Feel that little pressure down through your legs. Try and relax your shoulders, your wrists. Maybe stretch your wrists out if you need to. All right, now we're going to shift onto the belly. So remember how I said today we're focusing on elimination? So these belly movements, these little back bends that we do on our belly, give that little pressure through your abdomen. They can be really helpful. But if your low back is feeling kind of crappy today, you can always put a blanket or you can have that cushion underneath your hip bones just to kind of tilt your pelvis a little bit to give you a little bit more stability. Now, arm position. You have choices. You can bring your hands up underneath your shoulder or underneath your forehead. You can let your arms rest by your sides. If your shoulders are feeling okay today, see if you can bring the backs of both hands to your sacrum, so your palms are facing the ceiling. That gives you a little extra stretch through your shoulders. If this is no good, don't stay here. Take a breath. Notice that when you exhale, you're pulling that belly button in, engaging your abdominal muscles there. Try and keep your abdomen strong. On your next inhale, you're going to lift your head, your chest, kind of reach your hands towards your feet so your shoulders come away from your ears. And then when you exhale, lower down. It's not a big movement. So inhale, lifting your head, your chest, squeezing those shoulder blades together, reaching towards your feet. Exhale, lowering down. If you have your arms down by your sides, inhale, try and turn your palms towards your butt as you lift. Maybe one more time. Whatever positions your arms are in, they're not really working. You're just pulling your shoulder blades back and down. The next time your head, your chest are resting on the floor, you get to stay there. Take a breath. Let everything relax. Now check in with your body. All right, so what we're going to do next is a little left-right awareness. I'm going to start with my hands by my shoulders, elbows on the floor. This is a little easier, a little bit more balanced for the shoulders. So on your inhalation, at the same time, you're going to lift your head, your chest, just that little bit. Extend through your right arm. Lift your opposite leg. When you exhale, come back to the starting spot, lowering everything down. And then you'll switch. It's kind of like swimming in slow motion here. Feel that strengthening diagonally across your back. And exhale, lowering down. If your hands are behind your back, you can do it where you sweep your arm out to the side and up alongside your head on your inhale. And then when you exhale, bring that arm to your back as you lower your leg to the floor. Again, if your shoulders don't love this, do it the first way. Whatever variation you're doing, even if you want to just not use your arms at all, do one more round on each side. If you're going faster than me, that's okay. The next time you bring your left arm back to the starting spot, let everything relax. Feel that action through your back. Maybe notice that little pressure through your abdomen. And then I'm going to have you push back up onto your hands and knees, using that extra cushion under your knees if you need. We're going to sit back into child's pose here. So take a second, sink into this. Find that stretch along your back. Breathe in easy. If you can, kind of stay in this position. Just walk your hands to the right a little bit. Maybe reaching out through your left fingertips, pushing your hips straight back. Try and find that space down the left side of your back. Find that space, someplace that feels easy, someplace you can breathe. And then you're going to walk your hands to the center. And then just keep going over to the other side. Pushing your hips straight back. Reach out through your right fingertips. Breathe in easy. And then you're going to come back to the center. Then come back up onto your hands and knees, adjusting everything that needs adjusting, right? Okay. So we're going to do another kneeling thing here, but we're really focusing on the feet. So what I want you to do is just step your right leg straight back. So the ball of your right foot's on the floor. Push back through your heel so you can find that little stretch along the sole of your foot, your calf. All right, and then you can bend your right knee to the floor. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Step that left leg straight back, pushing your hips, or pushing back through your left heel. That took all my brains. All right, and then bend your left knee to the floor. Now we're going to get crazy. All right. Look at the space in between your hands. See if you can bring your right foot as close to your right hand as you can get it. Now, if your foot doesn't quite get there, reach back, grab your foot, pull it forward. Your right hand can be on the outside or the inside of your foot, whatever feels most stable for you. Both hands are going to be on the floor to start here. All right. And then you're going to come onto the ball of your back foot. Lift that back knee up off the floor. So just kind of a big lunge here. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your hands on the floor. Feel your body nice and solid. If you can, just bend your front knee a little bit more, pushing your hips forward. See if you can get that stretch on your hip flexor here. Now, if it feels kind of nice, you can drop that left knee all the way to the floor, bending your right knee forward as far as it wants to go. Again, feeling that space. Here's the deal, folks. I'm going to invite you to go a little bigger if you want. Feel your right foot on the floor. Feel the weight of your body and that right foot pushing into your right foot. See if you can bring both hands up onto your right thigh. Now, if this is too much pressure on your back knee, you can always come up onto the ball of your back foot. You choose, but you want to be stable. I won't talk for too long. If you can, your hands can stay on that front thigh. Maybe lift just your left arm toward the ceiling. Big stretch on the front of your body. Feel all that space. Breathe in easy. Try and find a space where you feel stable, solid on the floor. Active legs. Now gently bring both hands to the floor. You're going to step that right foot back. You can sit back into child's pose, taking a breath here. If you love down dog, I'm going to invite you to do a little down dog here. So tucking the toes of both feet under, lifting your hips, pushing your hips straight back. Feel those strong legs. Feel all that circulation down both legs here. Maybe feel your quadriceps working just a little bit so your knees can be activated. And then you're going to bend both knees to the floor. We're going to do the other side. You ready? So left foot comes forward. Move it however you need to. Start small. Just come onto the ball of your back foot. I know some of you already got excited. Lift that back knee up off the floor. We're going to start in this lunge, just so you can feel that space. Feel your hands, your feet pressing into the floor nice and solid, lots of energy pushing into the ground. Now, if it feels good, you can bend your front knee a little bit more, slowly dropping that right knee to the floor. You find the stretch, so we're looking for that hip flexor stretch first. If you're feeling stable, really push your left foot into the floor. Bring both hands to rest on your front thigh. Again, you choose the position for your back leg that feels most stable for you. Okay? Find your stability. Breathe in easy. Maybe raise your right arm toward the ceiling. Opening all the way up, down through your belly, down through your hip flexor. Breathe in easy. All right, now bring both hands to the floor. Step that front foot back, sit back into child's pose. And then you're going to lift back up onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. If you love down dog, do a little down dog here. If down dog is not your friend, do try and relax your shoulders, your neck. Focus on your legs here. If you can stay in down dog, just bend one knee a little bit more, pushing back through your opposite hip. And then switch, bending your other knee. Feel that circulation all the way down your legs to your toes. Let both knees be evenly bent. And then you're going to slowly come up so that you're folding forward over both legs. Standing forward fold. Weight of your body's down through your feet. Bend your knees a little bit. Slowly stand all the way up. I'm going to adjust my mat. Maybe. It was easier in my head. All right. As you come up to standing, give yourself a minute. If the world is spinning, take a minute for the world to stop spinning, for your mat to quit rolling up. You made it. Bring one hand to your lower abdomen again, and the other hand to your chest. And just take a breath. Reconnect to your body. Maybe reconnect to that circulation through your whole body. We did some strength. Maybe your heart rate is up. Maybe your breathing's a little bit faster. That's okay. Take another breath or two here. All right. And then you're going to let your arms relax. So we're going to do a little stability strength for the legs. So what I want you to do is I'm going to give you the side view. You stand with your feet about hip distance away from each other. And we're going to do a forward fold with a little chair in there. So when you exhale, you're bending your knees, gliding your hands down your legs. Bring your chest towards your thighs. Feel that stretch along your back. Feel your weight through your feet. Now, when you inhale, first lift your chest like you're sitting up in that chair, and then really use the strength of your legs to stand all the way up. Can we do it again? Exhale, bending deep. If you can, think about getting your hips even with your knees. Just think about it. And then when you inhale, lift your chest, then straighten your legs. Make your legs do all the work. I'm going to invite you to do two more. If that sounds impossible today, listen to your body. Inhale, lifting through your chest, and then your legs. We're going to do one more. If you have to take more than one breath when you're doing this, it's okay. Just feel that lifting through your chest, and then the strength through your legs, pushing into your feet. And then take a free breath. Feel that circulation, adjusting everything that needs adjusting. All right, so here's the deal. I want you to step your feet just a little wider than hip distance away from each other. Your toes can point out a little bit here. And then we're going to do a little baby squat. Not as big as your last squat, okay? So all you're doing is bending your knees and then straightening your legs. When you straighten your legs, you can clench your glutes. When you bend your knees, you can relax. So what I'm going to try and do is as you inhale, bend your knees. As you exhale, feel that work. Imagine you're pushing down through your feet, out through your toes. Do that a couple more times. Just find that little baby effort. You can sink as deep as it feels good. Maybe one more time, just the legs. All right, the next time your legs are straight, let your legs stay straight, let your glutes relax. Remember that pelvic floor? We're going to try and find it again. So here's the deal. When you exhale, you're straightening your legs. Think about lifting your pelvic floor. So if you start here, you're pressing your feet into the floor. Think about lifting your pelvic floor. I don't know about you, but my eyebrows go up too. Whatever works. You can even think about pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Sometimes that activates that pelvic floor a little bit. Give it a shot. All right, now on your next, so you're exhaling, everything's nice and strong. And then when you inhale, you're going to relax. Can we do it again? Relaxing that pelvic floor. I can't do it without my eyebrows, you guys. Lifting that pelvic floor, straightening your legs, pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And then when you inhale, bend your knees, relax everything. Imagine that flow all the way out. Let's do one more. Relax. All right, and then you get to straighten your legs. Maybe rotate your toes forward just a little bit. Keep your feet wide. We're going to do a forward fold here. So your knees are unlocked, just folding forward over your legs. You can have your hands on your legs. They can come to the floor, whatever feels good for you. Just take a breath or two here. Maybe feel that stretch along your hamstrings. Legs are nice and solid in the floor. If you can, stay folding forward. Just bring both hands to your right leg. Let your nose drop toward that right knee. Really push down through your left foot. Breathing easy. And then you're going to walk your hands back to the center. And then over to the other side. Taking a breath or two here. And then walk your hands back to the center. All right, now here's the deal. We're going to come down into a seated position. You can get there from here however you like. You like that? That was fun. Now here's the deal. We're going to be seated for a minute. So if you want to grab a little cushion to elevate your hips, you can do that. You can also sit in a chair to do all of these seated things. I'm not going to jump back and forth between a chair, but I will show you with the cushion, this adaptation. You're going to stretch your legs out in front of you. Now, here's the hard part. When your hips are elevated, if your knees are really loose, you can hyperextend your knees. So make sure your knees are bent just a little bit. Kneecaps and toes are pointing toward the ceiling. Socks may be twisted all the way around. Happens. Find a spot where you can press your hands into the floor. Now, if you're up on a cushion, the floor might be really far away, but you want to try and find a spot where you can press your hands into the floor. So even if it's pressing into your cushion, that's okay. Squeeze those shoulder blades together behind your back, lifting through your chest. You want your opening up through your chest, but focus on your feet. All you're going to do is point your toes and then flex your feet. Go back and forth a couple of times, pointing and flexing. Keep squeezing those shoulder blades together. I'm going to scooch off the cushion. The next time you're flexing your feet, keep flexing your feet. Feel your heels pressing into the floor. Nice strong legs pressing into the floor, hands pressing into the floor. If you're feeling frisky, if your shoulders are feeling good, your wrists are feeling good, I'm going to invite you to just lift your hips up off the floor and then come back down. Now, if that's not an option, you can just think about it. So lifting your hips and then coming back down. It really is more about shoulder mobility than anything. So if your legs are on the floor, just press down, clenching your butt cheeks. It can be a tiny little lift. We're going to do one more if you can. Okay, the next time your butt's on the floor, everything's relaxed. Bring your hands to your legs. Walk your hands down your legs. Find that even forward fold, readjusting your butt as you need. All right, and then I'm going to have you sit all the way up. Again, you can sit on the cushion so your hips are a little less flexed. I'm going to have you bend your right knee here. Now, we're going to do a little extra core work today. So if you can, hold on to your opposite elbows. You want to just feel your straight leg, that left leg pressing into the floor, both hips, nice and stable on the floor. If your hip flexors are starting to get a little cranky, straighten that right knee a little bit more. All right, so legs solid and stable, hips solid and stable. On your next exhale, you're going to twist across that bent knee. Twist your shoulders, your chest to the right. When you inhale, untwist. So it's all core. Really pull that belly button in as you exhale, twisting. Inhale, untwisting. I'm going to invite you to do two more. Just go as far as it feels good. The next time you're in the twist, you get to stay there. Maybe bring that right hand to the floor. You can hold your bent leg with your left hand, or you can bring that left arm to the outside of your bent leg. Just take a couple of breaths. Each time you exhale, sink a little deeper into the twist. Pulling that belly button in. Really feel your hips, your legs pressing into the floor. If you feel it in your shoulders, you're probably working too hard. Or your shoulders are really tight. That could be another thing. Now you're going to untwist. Stretch those legs out in front of you again, folding forward. And then you get to sit all the way up. And we're going to do the other side. I'm going to rotate. You don't have to rotate. One of these days, I'll have a big lazy Susan. I'll just spin the mat. All right, so bend your left knee. Set your foot onto the floor. Find a spot that your hip flexors are okay. It might be different on this side. Legs, hips, solid, stable. Hold your opposite elbows. On your exhale, you're twisting across your bent knee. So you're twisting to the left. And then when you inhale, untwist. Really use that core. It's like you're wringing out a cloth. Since our focus is on elimination, we're using those muscles to kind of squeeze out all the toxins. Isn't that a nice visual? I'm going to invite you to do one more twist and then find a place where you can stay. It might be different on this side, so listen to your body here. Now, every time you exhale, just sink a little deeper. Really think about your abdominal muscles doing the work here. And, if your lunch or your dinner gets in the way, you can always reach across and grab it and pull it out of the way so you can find a little deeper twist right at that lower abdominal area. Again, we're really focusing on the legs, the hips, that connection to the ground. All right, and then you get to untwist. Stretch both legs forward, folding forward over both legs. And then slowly sit all the way up. I've got one more seated position for you. If you have had enough, go ahead and lay down on your back. If you want to use your cushion again, grab your cushion. What I want you to do is bring the soles of your feet together here. So you feel your toes, the soles of your feet pressing against each other. And then holding your legs, your feet, your ankles, whatever you got. Clench your glutes. Squeeze those butt cheeks tight. At the same time, lift through your chest. Just feel that action through your legs, your feet pressing together just a little bit. And then relax your glutes, relax your legs a little bit. Try and keep your legs in this position. And then all you're going to do is fold forward. Just go as far as it feels good. So you can walk your hands forward. I don't want you to press your elbows into your legs. Just walk your hands forward as far as it feels okay. Take a couple of breaths here, wherever you are, even if it's just this, that's okay. Think about lengthening your spine. Every time you exhale, pull that belly button in. Notice where you feel the action in your body. This can be a really big stretch, even if it's not a big movement. Now, slowly, taking your time, sit all the way up. Bring your legs all the way together. And then you're going to come all the way onto your back, onto the floor. So as you come onto your back, find that place where your low back feels supported. Maybe rock a little bit from left to right. We did a lot of work through the hips in those seated positions. I'm going to invite you to do just a little bit more to balance it out, to release any tension. So hold the backs of both legs. Knees stay bent. On your next inhale, you're just going to open your knees wide away from each other. When you exhale, bring your knees all the way together. Really think about pulling that belly button in on your exhale. So inhale, knees go wide. Exhale, knees come together. If you have the brain space, as you open your knees wide, clench your glutes a little bit. And then relax the clench when you bring your knees together. If it feels okay, just do this a couple more times. Remember, we're trying to release the tension. Now, the next time your knees are wide away from each other, your knees can stay wide. Back feels nice and solid on the floor. Keep that belly button pulling in. On your next inhale, you're just going to straighten your legs out in a big V, flexing your feet. And then when you exhale, bend your knees. Just do this a couple more times. This is a good stretch for the backs, the hamstrings, and the backs of your knees. If you add that little flex at your feet, you get that stretch all the way up your calves to your feet. Now, the next time your legs are straight, if you can, keep your legs straight. Bring your legs straight together. And then pushing out through your heels, lift your head, your chest toward your legs. Maybe reach up for your feet. If you can, keep holding your legs. And then set your shoulders and your head to the floor. Bring your legs with you. Get that little extra stretch. Think about dropping your tailbone toward the floor. And then you're going to release your legs. Set your feet back down onto the floor. Maybe you need that little windshield wiper again. Releasing those hip flexors. Find the space releasing any tension that may have come up from this practice. This was a lot of lower abdomen stuff. So listen to your body. You know your body best. And then when you feel like you can bring your legs into a resting position, find that space. Find what feels good to you. You can keep your knees bent if that's best. We're going to just take a minute here and return to our starting spot. So bring one hand to your lower abdomen below your belly button, the other hand to your chest, and just take a couple of breaths. Just feel that natural flow of your inhalation and your exhalation. Now you can keep your arms where they are or just let them rest wherever you like. We're going to use this breath for just a moment. Just take a few breaths on purpose. Recognize that every time you exhale, your body is letting go. Releasing that air. Feeling that little contraction through your abdomen. Maybe imagine that as you exhale, that any heaviness in your body is releasing out into the floor. Use that exhale, imagining that your body is letting go of anything you don't need. Letting go of any heaviness, any dull feelings. Even letting go of any thoughts you don't need right now. Just invite your mind, your body, to let go of whatever it doesn't need. Taking a few breaths. I'm going to take you through 5 rounds of inhale and exhale of my breath. And it's going to be silent. So you just focus in. Every time you exhale, feel that release. If you have some more time, you can stay here and just let the video play out, giving your body and your mind a moment to rest in this space. Maybe recognizing the release, recognizing that feeling of lightness in your body after this heavy work. Definitely congratulate yourself for taking this time. And then when you're ready to come back into your day, take a minute, take your time. No need to jump right back up into whatever excitement comes next. Thank you so much for playing. Namaste.